Hopefully the commander and I... Never mind.
Hello, it's me again. Surprisingly, I'm not dead. It's been about 6 months since I started Nikke, and I did say I wanted to make more content about it, so I figured this would be a great way to start. In the time I've been playing, there have been quite a number of collabs and events I was able to experience, and I've managed to get myself relatively closer to the end game. I've made a lot of progress in the game over the past 6 months, and have quite a few thoughts I wanted to share, including new content in the most recent updates. And speaking of the recent update, Happy New Year! Might be a little late for that, but I wanted to say it anyway. Unit releases in Nikke are pretty frequent, dropping every 2 to 4 weeks. Fortunately, skipping most of them is pretty easy if you aren't interested in them, since they'll be going to the standard banner soon after release. Many players opt to instead save for special events, and I am one of them. The units released during anniversary and New Year events tend to be very lore relevant and perform extremely well, so they're very sought after. There are also summer, winter, and collaboration units, which are more scarce and can only be pulled during their respective events. Collab units in particular aren't guaranteed to ever come back due to licensing and so on, so once they're gone, you're pretty much out of luck. Since these events are pretty few and far between, I haven't had much of an issue getting the units I wanted. Even with my below average luck, with the mileage system Nikke has, I'm able to obtain at least a single copy, though I always end up complaining about it afterwards. Probably the only rough period I experienced was when Shift Up hit us with back-to-back limited events, with Stellar Blade, Nier, and the summer units. According to older players, it was a lot more lenient in prior years, but it's not the first time I've encountered predatory gacha game practices, so I'm not too pressed about it. While I don't consider myself to truly be at the endgame stage, I can definitely see that I've progressed a lot closer to it. I've recently reached Phase 7 of Kraken on Interception, and my solo raid rankings have improved a lot too. I pushed to chapter 38 on normal mode and chapter 20 on hard mode in the campaign, and on the PvP side, I usually finish in the top 10. Now that Nikke has introduced a story mode for the campaign, I'm able to catch up on the story without being walled by stats, which I'm really happy about, but more on that later. Nikke's endgame grind is as slow as I expected it to be, waiting for more quotas and other resources to level up units and gear. It's mostly tolerable since the guaranteed growth makes up for the slow progression, except for one aspect. Let me make one thing clear. I am fully aware that Nikke is nowhere near the only game with randomized stat lines for gear. I just want to complain about its system. First off, the difference in impact between the possible stats are insane. Attack and elemental damage are so much better than the rest that basically every unit wants 8 out of the 12 lines to be those 2 stats. While crit and max ammo lines are nice, they're pretty much a second priority, and literally every other potential stat could be completely useless depending on the weapon type of your unit, and defense, which is useless everywhere I guess. What makes it worse is that it gets harder to roll stats the further down the lines go. For example, the third line has a 70% chance of giving me absolutely nothing. So not only do I have to deal with stat RNG, now I have to pray I actually roll a stat in the first place. The cherry on top is how scarce overload rocks are. Every day, you only get 3 attempts to pray that the stupid robot squid will bless you with good rock drops, and unfortunately for me, that doesn't happen very often. On the bright side, I've received a lot of advice from both my friends and the internet on how to effectively roll my gear, so even with bad RNG kicking me in the face, I still have respectable lines for quite a few units, especially my Siren. Hopefully, with enough rolling, I'll be able to get the rest of my characters up to the same standard. Anyway, rant over, back to the video. Like I said earlier, I've been making use of the new story mode to catch up on the story without having to wait weeks to clear a chapter. Of course, this means I've cleared up to the latest chapter, which as of this moment is chapter 42. Without getting into spoiler territory, the recent arcs have felt insanely exciting, and I can't wait to read more. It feels like the whole story has shifted towards something big, especially with the events of the Goddess Fall story that ran alongside the anniversary. Speaking of events, I've been doing a ton of them from the archives, mostly concerning the Goddess and Old Tail squads. They were all amazing, and honestly, I could make another video just talking about them. I talked about how well written the story was in my first Nikke video, and I'm extremely happy to learn that that hasn't changed at all. It's just a shame that I'll probably have to wait a bit before another big event arrives, considering we were just given Arc Guardian. While I do enjoy the art related events too, I found myself preferring ones where the commander wasn't necessarily involved, and they tended to have bigger lore drops too. I'll probably have to wait a while for new main campaign chapters too, which is a shame. Speaking of the main campaign, I encountered a vocal minority with a negative reaction towards the story mode for some reason. I'm not sure if it was fueled by elitism or some other thing, but over the past month I've seen a few bad apples from time to time. While I don't follow many Nikkei content creators, I've seen a few get harassed for personal takes like calling a character lesbian. The worst case I saw was with my friend Artemis Luna, who received a ton of backlash for saying she didn't consider Nikkei a harem game, which I honestly find really stupid. But hey, guess that's on me for expecting anything from Gacha Grill. Of course, I'm completely aware that this is just a small percentage of the fandom. I'm happy to say that pretty much everybody I've talked to online was very welcoming, and that's not to mention the immensely positive reaction to my first Nikkei video, which I'm incredibly grateful for. I even got comments from Nikkei content creators I've never interacted with before. I'm really looking forward to making more content and interacting with even more of you in the future. Over the past 6 months, I've still been having a lot of fun with the game, and I definitely plan on sticking around. While I don't have any concrete plans for future content yet due to some real life issues that will take up most of my time for the foreseeable future, I still hope I can get a few more videos out for my Nikkei audience. For now though, that's it for my 6-month update. I hope you enjoyed my ramblings, and as always, thanks for watching.